events that they're organizing.
Right, but I believe, Councilmember Whitmer, your intent was the revenue, total revenue would be based on a fixed fee as opposed to any kind of percentage of revenue, or did I misunderstand that?
No, I was saying that there could be, the $3,000, my suggestion was the $3,000 that was put into this would only be for a specific period of time, and then, or it could be a percentage and then it would roll up. The other fixed fee, or the fixed percentage would be, if you're gonna get a 3-year deal, we need to know what the 3-year portion is. So that's, yeah, I'm flexible on it. I just don't wanna see $3,000 a month, $36,000 a year times 3, $100,000 for having somebody having the pleasure of doing it, plus then they get a revenue share. And so, but on the, one last point, you brought up and said, well, we never intended anybody to look at the money, but it does specifically say that they will be doing that. So I just think that, I'd like to see the document cleaned up a little bit.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, it needs to be clear. The $3,000 is not a payment to them, it's a guarantee. So if they only make $2,800, we're on the hook for $200, not for $3,000 every month. So that's just, and quite frankly, that's almost like doing tenant improvements in the sense that they have no client base, no repeat performance, nobody advertising, and then all of a sudden they walk in. It's to give them an incentive to go out and do those things so that they're making money, but that they're not, just hemorrhaging cash.
As a start, that's great.
And also not charging us such a high percentage with the fear of that first few months.
Sure.
They drive their percentage up, and that was always the thought of that, was letting them know, there's a little bit of a safety cushion there for them to get, at least get going. My thought is that $3,000 will rarely ever get reached.
Yeah.
Even without weddings or the bigger events right now, we're just about covering that every month.
Okay.
So.
Vice Mayor, please.
Comment and a question for Bill. Comment on adding some language to, something along Bill's lines that no monies will be, negotiated or done through the person in the contract. In essence, don't try to go around us and collect money. You collect any money around the town, you're gone. We're not gonna play, because we don't have direct contact with them all the time. We're not gonna tolerate anybody taking anything that the town is not aware of, period.
Well, that's the contract,
That-
which is not here.
But that's why we ought to make sure that it's pretty clear that, doing something like that. So my question for you, Bill, is, even though, let's say somebody's here for 4 months, they're not working out, how do we get out of this?
Well, that's not in this, that's not the contract, this is just a request.
Any contract that the town would enter into, all of our contracts have reasonable termination clauses. And most of them are the 30, 60, 90-day range. It might say something like, in this case, because there is a startup cost, that they have 90 days or 120 days or whatever the council feels is fair and reasonable. There are some terms, Bill and I have gone around on some of these contracts where we have had a specific item in the call for bids that says this has to be in there, this is what you'll get. We can't change those.
Right.
But in this case, if you look at this is a kind of a hybrid that gives us a lot of flexibility to put in contract terms. So we're gonna have the ability, when they come back to, I'm gonna call it, negotiate some of the terms without greatly changing what they have submitted in the way of a bid. Because then you get into stepping on other bidders and what they've given. But with the formulas in here, there's gonna be a scoring and a ranking, and that's gonna be shown to the public and to the council when we come out. So hopefully, and then the contract will come from that. In fact, Steve tried to draft a proposed contract, and I rejected it. I said, too early. I don't know what to say.
It's too early,
You're not an attorney.
No, actually, no, he does a good job of filling in the who, what, when, where, why, and how. And I just said, since this is too early, we need to see what we're going to get.
Well, that's what I'd like to see with this request for bid. See if anybody will, submit something, because it's pretty detailed, and I hope there are vendors out there that will do that. So, we're gonna give staff direction to clean up the, language.
Yeah, I think we have pretty clear direction on the intent and the
Mhm.
financial things. I think Mike and I and Steve have talked about along the lines of removing that ability and putting in some audited controls
Okay.
to prevent them from handling the cash checks and financial accounting.
Okay.
And the other things I think we've addressed, would be clear on the $3,000 a month thing and putting in a limitation on that?
Yes, based on
3 months.
what we would be doing, yes, it's just only doing it for up to, 3 months.
Okay.
I think
Then SLAs and whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want I can do an extract and send in my
And
annotations,
there's
if
a
you wanna
good-
look at them.
Yeah.
There's a good example of when we come forward with a contract, I wouldn't know what to recommend or put into the bid, what we're going to be measuring you against, because we don't know yet what they're going to be proposing. And when they do make that proposal, it may be that they're perfect already, but,
But
So
my
the
only
service
comment,
levels would be
Then we'll look.
in the contract,
Yeah.
not in the request.
But we can certainly put some
well, I would wanna
indications
know,
of that.
well, if I was bidding it, and this is how I look at it, if I was bidding this, I would look at what you're saying you want me to do, and I would figure out how much they'd cost me and how much I would need to make, and that would affect my bid. And so the more specificity you can have, I think the better, and that may keep people from being scared off or being disappointed at the end. That's why I like to have the specificity as best as we can. That's why I offer to the city manager, anything I've brought up, I'm more than happy to give you my annotations. And then I just ask that you guys, consider please cleaning it up a little bit to make it a better procurement. I'm not saying we shouldn't do this because we asked you to do it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Should we bring it back to our study session on November 4th?
Well, we can do that, or, I think we're pretty clear on the changes, and I think
November
Councilmember
6th.
Whitmer can provide the SLA annotations that he was talking about. We can
Okay.
put those in there too.
All right, so
Send it out.
do we need a motion? Call for a motion? Okay, call for a motion. Vice Mayor Reese made the motion, a second?
Second.
Okay, as modified, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Okay. So now we will go back to the pulled items from the consent calendar. Councilmember Widmer wanted to pull items number 13 and 16. We'll go to item number 13 first, which is the approval of agreement with Cal West Lighting and signal maintenance for traffic signal and streetlight maintenance. You want to say why you wanted to pull this?
I
Before we
reviewed
give it
this,
to-
yeah, sure. I reviewed some of my comments and concerns on this with the city manager, and he suggested that I pull it and we just go over them. I can
Okay.
do it privately, or I can do it publicly, whatever.
I think we should do it publicly.
Okay, that's great, no problem. So let me find what page I'm on. I've lost I'm having some
I think
problems
it
with my
would be-
PC, by the way.
Are you having pause? Would you like to look at my
No, because I
hard
have my
copies?
notes in here, I have my notes in here.
I've got some notes.
I don't want to read your notes. Okay, I think I'm squared away. Okay, which is on page 96, I believe,
96,
in my agreement.
the fiscal impact or the
Okay.
findings?
My first item is on the fiscal impact. So I looked in this, and when I went over it with the city manager, Mike, he said, well, he reminded me that this is a piggyback on the Menlo Park. And so there may be some information that maybe Menlo Park has, but didn't make it into the pack here, so. I'll go quickly.
Would you like some drinks?
No, it's okay, I'll go quicker, I don't drink. Okay. It says here, the contractor has waived the 5% COLA adjustments. It says from 2011 to 2013, but this is gonna be from 2004. So I think the years are wrong, but I didn't see anywhere in their bid or in our contract where we said, oh, by the way, and there's no cost increases.
Yes, and we will include that in the contract.
Okay.
Because we did get that, we did have that discussion with the owner, and they have provided that concession.
Yeah, okay, so we need to then put that in the contract also. It says in the, we can, and I'll point that out when we get there, I'm sorry. Okay, so again, this may be because it's Menlo Park, but it's a 3-year pricing, but we only got 1-year bids, so I would hope that, I'm on page 3 of 3 of this packet, but it's page 95 in my PC. No, I'm not, I'm on the table A.
Page 97.
97.
Page 97.
Well, okay, 97, sorry. So, again, it may be Menlo Park's issue, but we get 1-year pricing, but we're essentially saying 1 + 1 + 1, you know, and so we should just ask people for 3 years, or what their price escalations are, so.
Well, there will not be any prices.
I understand in this case, but that wasn't clear.
Okay.
It's me reading at home,
Okay,
doing my preparation work.
sure.
Thank you. That's good. I'm glad. I should have called you. I did speak to the city manager. I'm going as fast as I can. I know that you've got
I've got a date.
a hot date. So,
I love this. This is a piggyback.
okay. Monthly maintenance, okay.
What page?
Part 5 of the proposal, it is 109 of 267.
Okay.
It tells the people at home how many pages we had to read in 2 days.
Yeah.
Okay, D. This is a technical issue, but I think that there needs to be some sort of comment that says, as of day 1 of this contract, the equipment is assumed by you to be as is whereas. So when you read this, one could actually say, correction, repair, and replacement of the materials or equipment installed or modified by another party. Well, as of day 1 of the contract, it will have all been done, all those things by another party called Siemens. So we need to make sure that D exclusion does not apply, it's thereafter.
Well, as the non-drafter, I interpret that as saying anything during the period of the contract, not on day 1, but during the contract that somebody else does. That's what that says to me. And since if you tell me, well, it's ambiguous, great, because that mine holds, because they drafted the contract.
What else we have to do is just say, we understand, as of day 1,
Well, I would,
as is whereas, but that's okay,
you
whatever.
could get back into the fact that we're piggybacking, and
Yeah, right.
this is what their contract
Right.
says.
Well, they may be doing Menlo Parks, that's why I didn't understand. They may be doing Menlo Parks now, I don't know all the detail,
They are.
especially since it had the,
They are.
yeah, they are, so we should just cover ourselves.
You want to change this? Are you expecting your comments to be now added into this contract?
City
When-
manager asked me to bring it up so he could make some
Yeah,
notes.
we'll either do it via a written
A side letter?
thing to,
Yeah,
that they understand
because I
that
don't
they're
think this
maintaining our
contract-
facilities.
Well, we could certainly clarify it without necessarily getting into changing the contract.
Right.
I don't think
Right.
that that's what you're
Right.
going to do.
But I'm fulfilling.
That's our intent,
Yes, okay.
or,
All right, and so,
that's our intent.
yeah,
And just to clarify, that although we are piggybacking on Menlo Park's bid, so in other words, that's how we establish the cost, we are doing our own separate contract
Yeah.
with Cal West.
But understand, because the law requires us to have a competitive bid, piggybacking on Menlo Parks means if we change it in any significant or substantial way, we gotta go out and rebid.
well, this would be just an understanding,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
what
I
I
think
We're gonna do an overall
clarification is a
letter.
fine thing,
Right,
but
right.
if we get past that and start,
I understand,
I'm
and
not
so,
sure that I'm going to agree with everything.
113, we can stay and debate it. I don't have the date tonight.
Oh, that's too
I
bad.
know. Page 113, again, it's section E, that's where we would say it, no increase in labor rates. That's where we would say that, since it was a verbal agreement. It says that we could extend it, but.
but wait a sec, that would be inappropriate in the contract for extensions. Extensions are subject to either telling them we will extend it at more money, or at a reduction, or the same.
Well, somehow we need to memorialize that they made a verbal claim that they wouldn't raise any money.
Okay,
So
well, if
it needs to be
if
in
they've
the-
made a claim, we can certainly clarify that, but.
Yes, that's all I'm saying, that's what I'm saying.
Normally, we would.
I'm not trying to write something in that they didn't agree, it's in the staff report. But it doesn't it's not anywhere else. I don't mean to argue, but it's essentially what it says. Okay, I did have a concern, Bill, on the termination of the agreement, which is on section 17. page 117. So, I don't have an issue, people can terminate, you can have a termination for convenience at any point in time. However, if they give us 30 days notice, they could leave us in a lurch. And so we should probably say, you know, maybe talk to Menlo Park of having it extended to a longer period of time, or have some sort of consequences or termination assistance.
No, I gotta tell you, our business is contractual, we do property management, and before we sign any property management agreement with a new client, we wanna know that we can get out of it within 30 days, because they always want 30-day notice to cancel, but that's one of the most important things for us as a vendor, is to be able to get out of that, because sometimes they are untenable. I mean, they're like, you know,
Well, this is
monsters.
also such a small contract, quite frankly, the city manager can cover it for probably several months within his authority without even, well, we're going out to rebid this with somebody else.
Okay, all I was just saying is that when I brought it up to the city manager, he asked me to bring it up,
So
so.
and I get it, and this is, but it can be something else, but this is our standard contract, and that's our standard termination clause.
Well, I
And as
understand, but
I was
I
asked
think.
earlier, I was asked earlier how you get rid of somebody you don't like, you put a 30-day termination
Yeah,
clause in.
I think.
But you make it unilateral.
Yeah.
You don't
And
give them the
you
rights.
don't- It
Have
is.
to, but the courts don't like that. They
We
like
have
a
it.
quid pro quo
We
back
have
and
it, they
forth.
have it.
But I wouldn't give it to them because they leave us in a lurch.
No,
I'm here to protect the town, you know, to recommend things that protect the taxpayer. But unfortunately
think
for
it's-
you, that is my last comment
oh my God,
on this item.
well.
Oh,
Oh.
Well, I know, well, I have a comment now, since you opened it up. Because it talks about the lighted crosswalk on page 121. It says lighted crosswalk, Valparaiso at Sacred Heart School, it's at Hoover. What about the lighted crosswalk at Alejandra at Menlo College? Is that maintained by Menlo College?
Yes.
That is, okay.
And is the one at Hoover,
It's at Hoover, it's not at Sacred Heart School.
no, that's the,
There's two, there's one at Hoover
Yeah.
and one at Sacred Heart.
right,
Well,
yes.
so we need to add the one at Hoover.
No, there's two on there. Well, the one in
No, I
Hoover's,
don't,
no, the one in Hoover is currently under, go ahead.
Yeah, you're talking about Hoover and Valparaiso.
Right.
That's Menlo Park, because it's a joint, it's half
Oh, that's-
Atherton, half Menlo Park.
so
that's
Menlo
joint.
Park's
Menlo
managing
Park,
that one?
yes.
Oh,
Same
okay,
vendor.
It's on their side of the street.
All right, well, then pay for it.
okay.
All right, no
All
problem.
right. So, wait a minute, so we need to get a motion to approve this. Since you
So
had
moved.
so much airtime on this, would you like to make the motion?
With my amendments that the city manager, I think, is considering.
With most of the incorporated suggestions, the only one we still have to work out would be the termination issue if we do
I
it all.
will not agree with
Okay,
that.
most of that is.
Okay,
I will not
fine.
agree with
City
that.
manager, so I'd like to support the city manager with my approval. This motion.
I'll second.
Without the termination clause,
30
It still
days.
says 30 days. It still says 30 days.
stays the
30
same.
days.
So
I think the
moved.
city manager needs to decide what he wants to do. I give the city manager my discretion,
Well, I
my
don't.
full discretion.
Just go with the 30 days.
Do we have a motion that we want to
Yeah, we
vote on?
do.
Just one clarification, that
Please.
Hoover crosswalk
Yeah?
is currently under warranty. When it comes out, it's under this contract.
Ah,
Or that's the second one, the second lighted crosswalk.
okay.
Hoover
And
and
so
Sacred
when will
Heart
that
Valparaiso.
be? Will that be within the 3-year?
Yeah, it'll be later on this year, or 2014.
So make sure that that is added in
It-
here.
It's in there
It
already.
already says it.
Or we have an option.
It's
then.
in there. There's two lighted crosswalks.
No,
I
two
missed
lit
one.
crosswalks, right?
Yeah, but it says,
Where did I not see that?
He might have-
well, yeah, there's one, but then we just add the other one at the
Page
same.
121?
We add the other one at the same cost, but I won't believe that'll be till the 14-15 contract coming up in June. And we'll just change that to 2
Okay.
when that comes.
Our current situation with street maintenance is kind of an ad hoc vendor situation. We use, what do we use now, Steve? Siemens.
Siemens.
And this
Siemens.
is kind of a, as needed.
It's, yeah, we really, this is gonna be the best lighting contract this town's ever had. This is gonna get us into the jet age.
So I'm
Because right now we're
comfortable at this point
struggling.
with the 30-day termination, and we could pull in Siemens or.
That's
pull
why I
in
said I
somebody.
give you my discretion. That
So
was my
Would
motion.
this company also provide analysis for energy efficient replacement? bulbs?
Yeah, they're more than willing to, they're doing some LED replacements in Redwood City and Menlo Park right now. They're always willing to get bids for that type of extra work.
Yeah, but
The
it would
the
have-
question is getting the rebates
it
from
would have, it's
AG&E.
outside the scope of this agreement, of the agreement bid by, that we're piggybacking,
This-
we'd have to go out and bid it.
Yes,
This is maintenance.
okay, all right. So it's been moved and
Second?
seconded. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Were you guys discussing something?
He asked me, did I have another item, and I said it was 15 minutes.
Did you have a little sidebar going on here?
Yeah, we
We're
did.
calling for the vote.
We voted, I
Okay,
voted,
good.
so it passed with 3. Are we voting?
Yes,
We did.
aye.
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 Unanimous, it passed with 4. Thank
Okay.
you. So, item number 16.
I'm on page 149.
Item number 16. Mr. Whitman.
I read the full list, and I'm happy with the full list with 2 exceptions that I would like the city manager and the clerk to consider. One is the SBWMA meeting notes. Now, I understand that we're under a 10-year contract, but there are little issues associated with that contract even today, and clarifications that are still going on. I recommend that we not destroy any SBWMA documents at this point in time, and it's possibly keep them for 10 years until the next contract comes up. And then also, there was an item in here that said personnel, that's down like 5 from the bottom. Actually, it's 6 from the bottom. And I've got no issue as long as we maintain, like we've set a policy, I thought before, that we would keep all personnel files for all employees who are here or have left within a certain period of time.
These
You know,
aren't those.
Please don't.
These aren't those. These are the assistant city manager before. She kept files on things about personnel, but not personnel files.
Okay, well, it wasn't
Well,
clear.
that wasn't
And it
clear.
wasn't,
Yeah.
even when you said it.
And so the SBWMA meeting notes, these are her personal notes?
I don't know, you have to ask Teresa, she climbed through the rats in the carriage house.
Did you read them?
Those were former city manager notes, when
Halloween.
we actually attended
Worked
the
on those?
SBW
Well, she
meeting.
was there meeting.
Oh, it was a former city manager's.
That was, yeah.
Okay.
Like his handwritten notes, it's his handwritten notes.
Her, right?
Hers.
Is Eileen's?
Well, they were his, he was the representative. regarding her
Are there any like minutes or the documents that the SBWMA sent out or anything like that? It's just handwritten notes. Deleted. Okay, sorry I took up your time.
Me too.
All right.
I'll never get it back.
Ordinance,
We didn't get it.
motion,
Motion get destroyed.
motion. There's nobody from the public here, so.
Shall we have the public? No, no public. Darn. Okay, so I'll call for a motion to approve the
I would
destruction
like
of
to make a
records
motion that we destroy all of those documents.
that are listed in the staff report.
Right.
Seconded by Vice Mayor Weiss. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion unanimous. Isn't this
That's it?
great? Well, wait a minute, I don't know, I might want to
We
say
did not
something.
set any records.
Okay, no. Council reports and comments. Let's see, did we have any council reports?
I could not give you one because my report was done in closed session on the
Yeah.
SBWMA, and I wasn't authorized to release that information until today.
Right, and I was following Bill.
Okay. And nothing, so I handed out my council meeting notes.
You did?
Yes,
And it was great reading.
Very
Yes, it
good.
was
Good read.
great.
Good read.
so one of the things I do want to bring up though, was the fact that in CCAG, there's $1.6 million available for STP funds. And they're gonna go out for a call for proposals. And let's see. This, the call for projects are issued as October 11th. There's gonna be an application workshop scheduled October 3rd. Do you know about this, Mike? It is, includes potential bike and ped improvements. And I think that it's something that we might be able to tag on to at least to make a a proposal for some of this money. It's STP funds, Federal Surface Transportation Funds, San Mateo County. Yeah, and minimum of $250,000, maximum of $500,000 or $600,000 if it's undersubscribed. And so in my meeting report, it's got that, and I can give you have you heard of it?
No, but it would be good for us to attend the workshop that you
Yeah.
mentioned. Did you have a date on that?
October 30th. Application workshop is October 30th. Then the applications are due January 31st. They're gonna review February, March, and then make recommendations to CCAG, April, May, and then projects awarded May 2014.
No strings attached?
Yeah, well, it's gotta be used for what you say it's gonna be used for.
Well, some of they come with other strings as well.
Well, I'll give you the whole information about it, okay? All right, any other
I'd like to
discussion?
make a motion that we adjourn.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
second
look
that.
at that. All those in favor? Aye, meeting adjourned, 9:21. Ouch.